Hello and welcome to theory course of Civil Engineering 8th semester Earthquake Resistant Design of Structures RCE 088. So in this subject we will be going to study about earthquake resistant design of structures. So if I particularly talk about this first lecture, we are going to learn the introductory part of earthquakes. We will be dealing with some theoretical aspects that mostly relates to concepts of seismology. So this first lecture will be Introduction to Earthquakes and its various terms. The contents of this discussion will be Introduction to Earthquake, what are the different types of terms or terminologies that are associated with earthquake, what are the different causes of earthquake, and what are the different types of faults or what is a fault in an earthquake. So if I introduce this subject, then if we go as per the syllabus, then our unit 1 basically deals with the theoretical portion or seismological portion of earthquakes, in which we will study that what are the earthquake, what are the possible causes behind the occurrence of an earthquake, then how to measure the intensity or we can say the magnitude of an earthquake, and what are the different type of instruments that are being currently used to measure the intensities of earthquake, then what are the different type of faults, the theories behind prediction of occurrence of earthquake, and what are the different, we can say that, effects of an earthquake. So what harm does it causes? So all those theoretical portion will be covered in our first unit. In the second unit we will be more concerned about some modeling part. So then we will go to some single degree of freedom systems modeling, and in the third unit we will be doing modeling for multiple degree of freedom systems, MDOF systems. In the fourth unit we will be morely concerned about designing part of, we can say that, how we can design our structures with special consideration to earthquakes, and how do we calculate the lateral loadings or the lateral loads that are being subjected on a particular type of structure due to earthquakes. And in the final fifth unit we basically study about what are the various codal provisions and what are the various considerations that are kept while designing some masonry buildings with relation to earthquake, and some portion of machine foundations also, that what is a machine foundations, what are the different types of foundations. So because these machine foundations have machines on them, so when the machine operates they have continuously vibrations being produced, so we have to design the foundations also by considering some portion of vibration. So this is the course outline what we are going to study in this particular type of subject. Coming back to our first lecture, we are we will be discussing about introduction part of earthquakes. So let's start our discussion with earthquake. So we know what is an earthquake. It is a pretty general phenomena that is being observed from our childhood. So we know that earthquakes constitute one of the most first natural hazards, which often turns into a big disaster, which cause widespread destruction and loss to human life. We have seen that if the earthquake that comes and that is having an intensity, or we can say that that is having a vast effect if it is in particular type of area. Let's say we have seen, if we talk about our India, then we have seen that there is Bhuj earthquake, and recently there is natively or relatively closer to India, that is in Uttarkashi region earthquake, that region in Nepal. So these earthquakes turn out to be a great disaster, of course. So if we summarize, in the effect of earthquake, it will depend upon the magnitude and intensity of that particular type of earthquake. So earthquakes occur very frequently, but if we talk about the particular type of damage, that will be depending upon the intensity of an earthquake. Okay, so in some places we will have some earthquakes that will be occurring with a relatively low intensity. So those will not be having any such greater effects. But when the earthquake comes with a higher intensity value, then it can have a great devastation, and it can cause a great loss to life and property. So if we just try to go as per the definition, or if we just want to try to define what is an earthquake basically, then we can say that an earthquake is a result when some energy is being stored somewhere and it is released. Okay, so what is happening is that a certain type of energy is getting stored gradually. So gradually the energy is getting stored at a place, and then suddenly at a point of time it releases. So when suddenly that energy, that huge amount of energy releases, it travels in the form of waves. Okay, so it travels in the form of waves. So from that point where the energy was getting accumulated and now it has released suddenly, so that energy now travels in the form of waves, and those waves travel through the crust of earth. Okay, so those waves travel through the crust of earth, and then while traveling through the crust of earth, they disturb the natural, we can say that, profile of the crust. Also, when they reach to the surface, then they behave in a different manner and they disturb all the settlement that has been created on the surface of earth. So basically, what is an earthquake? It is a sudden, we can say that these are some vibrations, or we can say that these are some vibrations that have occurred or that have released from a point where there is sudden release of energy. Okay, so we can say that an earthquake is a result of a sudden release of energy in the earth crust that creates seismic waves. So the seismic, if we talk about the seismic activity, then the seismic activity of an area, it refers to the type of earthquake, the frequency of the earthquake, and the size of earthquakes which are experienced over a period of time. Okay. So basically, if you talk about a particular area and if we discuss about the seismic activity of that plate of that area. So if we talk about it, the seismic activity of an area, then what are we going to discuss? We are going to discuss that what is the frequency of occurrence of earthquakes at that place, and what are the different type of earthquakes that are being encountered at that place, and what is the size, or we can say that intensity of earthquake that those particular type of places are subjected to. So if you want to have a general idea that from a point how those waves are getting transmitted in all the directions, so we can have a general simple concept in which we can visualize to some portion that how those waves are getting traveled from a particular point. So let's just take an example of dropping a stone into one pond, or we can say into water. So as soon as what happens, as soon as we drop a particular type of stone into a pond, or let's say water, then what happens? We can say that waves are getting originated, like we can see in this figure. So at the center point, one stone or one pebble is being dropped, and you can see that waves are now generated, and those travels in all the directions. Okay, so this disturbance travels uniformly in all the directions. Similar, we can, in the similar manner, we can visualize the generation of seismic waves while an earthquake is produced. So we can imagine that this is this point, the center point, this is the point where the energy was released, and at this point when the energy is released, it travels in the form of waves. So we can see here, like, the water is getting traveled. So in the same manner, the energy that has been released, it is getting traveled in the form of waves from the center point in the all directions. So we can say that similarly, any sudden disturbance in the earth crust, it will produce vibrations which will travel in all the directions. From which point? From the point where earthquake has occurred. So similarly, there are different type of terms that are related with earthquakes. So a point where we can visualize in this photograph, you can see here. So there is a point that here it is written as focus. So this is a point where that energy is released first. Okay, so initially that energy is released, or we can say that that earthquake is originated from this point. So at this point that energy is released, and that those energy in the form of vibrations is now traveling all over the earth crust in the form of waves. Okay, so what is how we will define the focus? So basically it is the point where the rupture occurs, or we can say where the sudden release of energy happens, and it is the original point, or we can say the point of origin of an earthquake. Now, if we just go as per the geometry, and if we just try to produce, or we can say this, try to produce this point vertically above, so that we can obtain that particular point on the surface of Earth. So just try to project this point on the surface of Earth. So the point which will be obtained after projection of focus on the Earth's surface, that particular point will be called as epicenter. So what is epicenter? So it is a point on the Earth's surface that is directly above the focus. So how it comes directly above the focus? We are just trying to project that focus just above on the surface of Earth. So it is that particular type of point which is on the Earth's surface, and it is where that earthquake undergoes explosion. Okay. So next term is fault line. So what is basically fault? You can see in this figure that there is one point that is central point, or we can say point of origin, that is focus. So what is focus? So focus is that point where your earthquake has originated. Okay. So here your earthquake has originated. So in this point, at this point, the energy is getting released and it is getting transferred to all the directions. Okay. So we can see that the waves are getting transferred. So we can see here in this direction, we can see in the direction of these arrows, we can see energy is getting transmitted. Also in the form in this side also we can see some arrows in which energy is getting transferred in the form of waves. So from a center point, that energy in the form of wave is getting transferred to all the directions. So we can somehow we can say that we can somehow club these all the directions, and we can say that the resulting directions of this wave can be in two parts. You can say that here you can see if you will see at the right side of focus, you can say that the energy is getting transferred to the right portion of the focus, and on the left side you can see from the direction of arrows, so you can say that those resultant energy is getting transferred to the left side of focus. So when I say on the right side of focus and on the left side of focus, so basically what I'm doing, I'm just creating a boundary that from the right, on the right hand side of this boundary, the waves are moving towards the right, and on the left side of this boundary the waves are moving towards the left. So we can say that from that point where the direction is different, the we can say propagation of waves is in the opposite directions, okay, or in the different directions. So that boundary can be created, and this boundary is called as basically your fault line. Okay, so this is your fault line. You can see that here it is written as fault, and this fault, when we project this or continue this through the whole earth crust, then this appears in the form of a line that is called as fault line. Okay, so when this line reaches on the surface of earth and disturbs the we can say natural topography of earth, then that portion we will say that the disturbance or that breaking of land will be called as fault described. So what is a fault line? It is a surface trace of a fault. Okay, so the line of intersection between the earth surface. Similarly, what is fault plane? So the plane along which those that earth crust has been disturbed, or we can say that it has been broke off into portions. Okay, so if we just try to summarize the causes of earthquakes, so why the earthquakes are happening is that there is a point where energy is getting stored, okay, and that energy is stored, that point where gradually the energy is getting stored, then after a certain interval of time, that stored energy is suddenly getting released. So when it suddenly get released, that energy, we have known the conservation of energy principle, that it cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed. Okay, so that energy cannot be destroyed, so that energy is there. So in which form is it is there? It is there in the form of waves. Okay, now when these energy is suddenly released, so that energy in the form of waves travels through that point in the all the directions. Okay, what is that point? That is your focus. So if we go as per the theories behind causes of earthquakes, there are many theories behind the causes of earthquakes. So, like we can say, there is theory that deals with occurrence of earthquake because of tectonic plates. There is another theory that deals with the occurrence of earthquake because of gradual accumulation of energy. And there is also one theory that deals with the occurrence of earthquakes depending upon their volcanic eruptions. Okay, so there are many theories behind the occurrence of earthquakes, but the concept is that at a point, at a particular area, that energy is somewhat gradually getting stored, and when that gradually energy which is getting stored, that release suddenly, then earthquake will happen, or earthquake will occur at that particular point. So when that energy is or we can say that when fault is reaching to the earth surface, it is disturbing the natural topography, or it is disturbing or destroying the particular area. Okay, so we can say there are the faults. So when it is reaching the surface of earth, that if we just see through the that fault plane, or we can say that fault line, so we can imagine that what are the different geometry in which that area can behave. Okay, so there are two types of faults. We can say that there is two general faults, that is one normal fault and thrust fault. So just try to visualize this photograph, just try to see this photograph. So you can see there is one line. Okay, so this is your fault line. So this fault line, basically what it does, it partitions this area into two portions. Okay, so it is breaking off this area into two portions. So you can see that there will be a portion that is on the right side, there will be on the portion that is on the left side of this fault line. So when such condition will happen, that the block which is above the fault, okay, so let's say this fault, this block, this is above the fault. So when it will move downward relative to the block below, so we can see that this, when this portion will move downwards with respect to the other block, then that type of fault will be called as normal fault. And if this reverse happens, like if this if this portion moves above the other portion, okay, above the other fault, then that type of fault will be called as reverse fault. There is one another strike slip fault, another category of fault, that is strike slip fault. So in this category, we have two types of fault. So there is one left lateral strike slip fault, and there is right lateral strike slip fault. So we can have a general idea from its name only, that when the portion after the breaking from the fault line, when it moves to the right, okay, then that will be called as, with respect to another portion, then it will be called as a right strike slip fault, and it moves from the left side. So you can have a view from the other side, and we when we say that it is moving on the left side from that particular type of fault, then it is called as a left lateral strike slip fault. These were the this is the basic introduction about earthquake, how do we define earthquake, why earthquake appears on the surface, and what are the different we can say the terminologies that are associated with occurrence of earthquakes, and what are the faults. So we have seen that there are many types of faults which we have discussed. So that was all. Thank you for this lecture.